if you were watching Tuesday night's main event, we got to talking about, I think Star Wars was what started the conversation, and I remember speaking about it, and I'm like, the same thing that I'm saying here applies to Marvel as well, and some other properties. So it's not just them. And it's more of a business kind of related approach, and maybe a little economic. Actually, it is economic now that I think about it a little more in detail. And, you see that there's a lack of interest, there's a lack of enthusiasm with these major sort of properties. And the point that it is that I brought up on Tuesday night's main event is that, and I think a lot of people sleep on it, especially aspiring creatives who are trying to value or put value in the universe it is that they're building. So with a Star Wars, especially, and same thing can go for Marvel, but just as much as the individual product is something that sells, their universe is just as important. And what I mean by that is that if there is no general enthusiasm for the world, right, the investment into that world by the customers, the fans, then that is going to show. And it doesn't matter how, quote unquote, good a film is or a show is. And the example that I brought up was Andor. I think I said Andor there, where you have these people that say, well, this is great. This is actually fantastic. And nobody cared to watch it, which shows that there's no investment in the world by way of the customers. So when people buy into this is not to say that there aren't normies that would go watch a film. That's not what it is that I'm saying. I'm saying that over the years, especially with those specific properties, that's been what's unique to them. And that's been a good thing because it's worked to their benefit. This is why they've been able to make as much money on so many different aspects of their world, because of exactly that. It's sort of this exploration of a connected universe, and people are getting sort of lost in it. And that's very, very important to the general fan. That's what makes this unique about some of those properties. Yeah, there are like one-off movies and properties that exist out there that people enjoy, but you know what you're getting yourself into when you start getting into like a Star Wars, or you start getting into like a Marvel. And it's not to say that you're going to like every single thing that they produce. It's not to say that you're going to like every single character it is that they've created. No, I mean, I'm a Marvel used to be a Marvel DC guy as far as going to the comic book shop every Wednesday, and I've talked about this. Yeah, I was one of those that bought almost all of the comics that were coming out that week, but people pick their spots and pick their favorites for sure. But if they were a fan, an actual fan, it's usually not just Spider-Man. It's usually some other characters it is in the world that they are keeping up. It may not be all of them, and it's varying degrees, but it's still sort of getting lost into that universe. And you might have your favorites, but that is very, very important to what's being sold. And I think that that's why it hurts so bad. So I'm not saying that if you are aspiring to be this creator or entertainer to not invest in the world. No, because when it works, you're going to make a killing. But it can hurt in the sense that if people are not enthusiastic about it, are not invested in it for whatever reason, whether it be you kind of, that rapport that you have with the audience is lost, you've turned them off, maybe the material is bad, maybe there's some creative issues that are there that have made people be like, you know what, I don't really want to be into this anymore, whatever the reason may be. But people not being enthusiastic about the world itself is going to then hurt every release it is that they have. And again, no matter how good it may be. And that is a problem that a lot of these properties that these mega corporations have right now are suffering from. It took a little bit, but the goodwill that they've built with the audiences has really gone away. So, I would say this. One way that you can tell that a property is doing very well is even when they produce something and put something out that is mixed in terms of its reviews, or if it's like even poorly received, but it still does well, right? That lets you know that it's healthy, it's thriving as far as its core demographic, core target audience. That's a good sign, right? Not to say that that's justifying what they put out. No, that's just a good sign. But once they are putting things out, and it really doesn't matter how good or bad that the people that did see it feel about it, it just not being viewed. Now people are just checked out. That's a problem. It takes a lot to try to turn that around. And look, I don't think that they have the ability to pivot without selling off assets. That's going to be a tall order, man. That's going to be very difficult for them to do. Alpha Core #1's pre-order is live. Written by the legendary Chuck Dixon and penciled by Joe Bennett. Visit Rippaverse.com to grab a copy and any of the merchandise items. Be sure to also check out the animated trailer for the campaign, which is the latest project from Rippaverse Studios. Y'all be easy.